She hasn't seen Chief since that day. Since the day she left, she's made no contact with Chief, meaning that at this point of this interview, the alleged incident would have already occurred. And her opening statement is not about getting assaulted, it's not about being imprisoned, and it's not about any type of revenge content. Her opening response, her opening statement on why she left at the forefront of her mouth, because of the Queen thing. Motive.
Thinking that I actually have a chance to like prove that okay, well I can definitely, take the Queen thing and really do something positive with the cult. But nah, he was like, it was never gonna be that way. He said that it's going to be queenly a queen. She's gonna remain the queen after the court thing, and I'm gonna be her servant, meaning I'm gonna be her caddy. I do everything for her, and for a day or two I was that. I was her servant, and I'm gonna be her servant, and I'm gonna kiss her feet in front of the whole world, and then I'm gonna claim the name Sophia because people was calling me Nateri again and forgot that I was renamed Sophia. So that was the plan. And I wasn't really always okay with it, but I tried to be okay with it because I tried to think of the bigger picture about how he's saying he's about to adorn her, adorn Malia and make her the queen and show how a black woman should be treated and, make her the face of carbonation. And I'm just like, all right, well, I can sacrifice, me really feeling like I could do it for her to take the shine. But in my heart, I didn't really feel like that's what I wanted to do because he said, and you're going to be in the background. And when he said that, it triggered me because I'm like, I'm not made to be in the background, yo. I know that about myself. I'm not made to be behind nobody that and I shine really 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 bright. He wanted me to dress her up every day, with the fashion that I got, all the clothes that I brought. He wanted me to do everything for her. Anything that she wanted, I was supposed to do for her. And when I really thought about it, after seeing that they didn't really respect me or cared for me at all, they just said, "Oh, you just bought the fashion," without even recognizing that that's not all I did. You know what I'm saying? I realized that they don't love me like I really love them, and I want to go. So at this point, I'm more hurt than angry.
Motive. When she realized that the possibility of her being queen was no longer available, she decided, well, I have no purpose here because I need to shine. I can't be in the background. So I'm ready to go. That's what this is about. Nothing about being assaulted, nothing about being harassed, nothing about being treated badly. This is all about the inability to be queen and being reassigned and repositioned as a servant. How can you say that these people don't care about you when they've allowed you to come back 2, 3, 4, 5 times? You've been seen going on trips. You've been seen being at restaurants, on beaches. You've been seen talking about your other so-called victim situations with other men.
Because I ain't had time for it. I'm like, nah, I want to leave now. And he's like, okay, well, you know,
She feels hurt in this moment. She had expectations of being the queen. Once those expectations were no longer possible, she said, well, there's no need for me to be here. I want to leave. I want to go.
are you calling your Uber or whatever? I'm doing that right. I told them I'm doing that right now. And basically, I was just like trying to not let them tell me.
Notice, notice that when she made a notification, when she made it known that she wanted to leave, the immediate response she got was, are you calling the Uber? How are you leaving? There was no you can't go. There was no why are you leaving? There was no blocking the door, holding you back, taking your phone, none of that. It was a simple, well, are you calling the Uber? Just want to know how are you leaving? That's it.
To stay, because even Aya said, "Oh, stop being self pity and just do the work." I'm like, nah, I don't want to be here no more. Like that shit is dead. It's done. I don't want to be here no more.
Of course, Goddess Aya told you to stop pointing the finger and stop being a victim and do the work because that's what you always do. You leave, you say we're the problem. You get with somebody else, you say they're the problem. You come back here, you say we're the problem. You leave, you get with somebody else, you say they're the problem. You leave, you get with us, you leave, say we're the problem. Then you get with somebody else and you say they're the problem, and then you leave. You have an inability to realize that out of all your failed relationships, you are the common denominator. When you point the finger, you miss the point. You are the common denominator. Wherever you go, there you are. No matter where you go, you take you with you. So Goddess Aya peeped the pattern that you always do and said, will you do something different? Stop being a victim. Stop blaming other people. You can't keep running thinking that you're going to get somewhere other than back with your own self. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is known as insanity. So, Goddess Aya just wanted to let you know that you're doing something. That you're doing something that is a pattern. And if you keep doing those things, you'll keep getting the same outcome. That's it.
Even though I truly in my heart I wanted to stay
I
with
don't want to be here no more.
the family. I call my Uber. I call up a friend. Actually, I text a friend, and she said that I can.
Even though truly in my heart, I knew I wanted to stay with the group and the family. Not the cult, but the family. In the same sentence, there's a level of uncertainty about one's decisions present. In the same sentence, she stated that she wanted to leave and that she was ready to go and she didn't want to be here. And in the same sentence, shortly after, it says, but truly in my heart, I knew I wanted to stay with the group and the family.
Stay at her um, place or whatever, a studio, art studio for the night.
So this
I had
person is
$6 that
able to call an Uber and call her friend. She has a communication device. Nobody's stopping her from leaving. Nobody's telling her not to call nobody. Nobody's begging her to stay. Nobody's threatening her not to leave. This person has every opportunity and the full ability to leave whenever she wants.
was $4. So I got the Uber, and I started to make my exit. And the girls are snatching a charger, my nigga, a charger out of my hand, saying, "Oh, is that your charger? Did you came with this charger?" I said, "No, I didn't come with this one, but I came with a charger, and I can't find it."
Now, according to the charges, false imprisonment is involved. The thing about it is that if you're being falsely imprisoned, why is a charger of such great concern? If you're being falsely imprisoned, the only thing you want to do is get away from the people or the person that is holding you against your will. What type of person being falsely imprisoned has the ability to call an Uber as well as any other contact they have in their phone?
People have been using it. I don't know where it is at. So they snatched the charger out my hand. I'm like, "Did Baba G tell you to do this?" So I was gonna go upstairs to go to Baba G. Queen Maria comes out and tells me to go back downstairs. And I'm just like, Baba G would have never treated me like this. Y'all bitches just jealous. And I
In the midst of you making arrangements to leave, you want to go back upstairs to talk to Chief. Doesn't sound like you're being held against your will. I'm still waiting for the instance where you're unable to leave. Because that is what I would assign to somebody who's being falsely imprisoned. Some type of indication that you couldn't leave or that you was afraid to leave. I have yet to see that. I have yet to hear that. False imprisonment means the inability to leave or the fear of leaving. Neither one of those requirements have been met.
pulling my shit out the door at this point, with my shoes off. And I'm getting to the car. And that's when they say,
Baba G would have never treated me like this. Meaning that you have a good relationship. Meaning that Baba G would treat you with respect. He would treat you with care. Meaning that he would treat you in high regards.
Baba G is calling you. God is calling you. Will you answer the call? So I go back inside. I go back inside to tell him bye.
I'm
And
rolling my things out of the door at this point, and I'm at the car. She's at the car, outside of the house, off the property. I'm still waiting for the notion where you were unable to leave or afraid to leave. None of those requirements have been met yet.
I hug him and he says, "I love you." And I said, "I love you too." And that's when he started taking
So prior to your intended departure, you're at the Uber. You've made it safely to your mode of transportation away from the environment that at one point you said you didn't want to be here, but you knew in your heart that you actually wanted to stay. So whether or not you actually wanted to leave is still unclear. But nonetheless, your opportunity to leave has not been hindered or stopped by anyone. You go back inside on your own accord, not under threat of harm, not out of fear, but on your own accord, through your own cognitive ability, while having made it to your mode of transportation, that you used your last $4 to pay for, you decide to go back inside. Simply because someone said, Baba G is calling you. Not because we're going to get you, not because you're going to pay for this or you're going to be sorry for this, but simply because Baba G is calling you. And so you, someone who claims to have been falsely imprisoned, goes back inside.
Into the other room, and I said, no, stop, like I really gotta go at this point, like then my Uber's outside. So he takes me into the other room, and I start crying in his arms.
Now, some people would try to argue that taking someone into the other room would be an indicator of force. Yet we must also determine these words in congruence with the context of the situation as a whole. As we listen to the rest of her description of what happened, we can actually gain a clear understanding of what that meant.
Because I don't know, I just was emotional, everything was going everything.
Now, one would argue that she said, no, stop. Listen to the full context of the situation.
Was just like piling up on me. The Uber done left me, so I felt like I was trapped there again. And I was like, oh my God, like I just missed the Uber. Like, and he's like, he's telling me, I'm not gonna let you go. You know, you're my bitch, you're my property. And I'm telling him, like, you're gonna have to let me go. I'm telling him, you're gonna have to let me go. He's like, you think I can't let you go? And at this point, I'm looking at him in the eyes, and me being dumb, I got manipulated back in. Literally, like I
And when she states, let me go, she's not referring to anybody holding her arm or holding her down or blocking her away from the exit or anything of that nature. When she says, let me go, she's saying it in the context of an emotional attachment.
resist him in that moment. In that moment, I was really vulnerable, and he knew exactly what to say to me to help have me stay there with him. And yeah, we did make love in that moment. I didn't want to like resist
He
him.
knew exactly what to say to me. I couldn't resist him in that moment. No notion of I tried to fight, being held down, being threatened, being attacked, nothing. Just a simple, he knew what to say to me.
I didn't want to like because any of that, because it was just like, if I felt like if I was gonna resist him and I already done left the Uber done left.
And it is critical that we pay attention to the way the alleged victim described the encounter. She describes the encounter as we did make love. And anybody who's been involved or knows someone who has actually been sexually assaulted, they do not describe their encounter as making love in no way, shape, or form. Because making love warrants consent, sexual assault does not. And like I said before, this interview was shortly after the alleged incident, only a matter of days. It wasn't months, it wasn't years, to the point where memory could have faded to the point of unrecognition or confusion. This interview was conducted shortly after the alleged incident, meaning that the person making the accusations had a clear picture, a recent picture of what happened. She wasn't under the influence of any type of marijuana. She wasn't under the influence of any type of alcohol. She wasn't under the influence of bodily harm or injury. She described a sexual encounter as making love.
And my friend is calling me like back to back to back, asking me if I'm okay. And I'm just like being a stupid ass, like letting him manipulate me back into the situation and allowing him to have sex with me. So at this point, I'm just like, oh my god, I'm stupid as fuck, because I'm a sucker for fucking love. Like, and at this point in my mind, afterwards, I'm telling him.
Very key point. Very key point. Allowing him to have sex with you. One of the primary factors, if not the most important factor when it comes to sexual assault, is that victims don't allow. They actually are in resistance to the sexual act. To not only describe the encounter as making love, but to also make a statement that you allowed him to have sex with you is a clear indication of consent, which does not coincide with assault. Consent and assault do not occupy the same space.
I still want to go. And he's like, shut up, you my bitch. Like, you're not going nowhere. You're my property. Just hurry up and get over that shit. And let's go. Like, you waste.
Now, this has been about 6 minutes. We've heard no abuse. We've heard no danger. We heard no fear. We've heard no harassment. What we have heard is somebody's full ability to leave, to come and go as they so please. What we have heard is somebody who has direct communication with somebody that's not a part of the alleged cult. What we do have is somebody that trusts and feels safe around the alleged assaulter. What we do have is somebody making a direct statement that the sexual encounter was in fact consensual. That's what we do have. What we do have is somebody who takes responsibility for the decision that they made by saying that, quote unquote, I'm a sucker for love. Not that I was abused, not that I was in fear of my life, not that I was screaming, I was resisting, I said no over and over again, I said stop over and over again. None of that. We heard somebody say that they made love, they allowed it to happen, and that they was a sucker for love.
Time. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a shower. And he's like, okay. So he leaves the room. And while I'm in the shower, I'm texting my friend. I'm like, at this point, I'm gonna have to sneak out because I was weak in that moment. I was weak, and he knows exactly what to say to, just to get me back in. I missed my Uber. I missed my shot of going, um, and I'm gonna have to get out because he's not letting me go. He told me that he's not letting me go anywhere. So I'm gonna have to just go. So I had to sneak out in the rising when everybody was sleeping, and I prayed to God that nobody woke up. The only person that was up was Zoka, and she was in the shower. So I took the opportunity to go because I knew that if I would have stayed, more humiliation, more embarrassment, more of.
This fear sounds self imposed because you clearly had the ability to leave. This is a self imposed fear. Why are you now afraid to leave? When you originally made it known that you wanted to leave, you had the full ability to do so. Why all of a sudden have you now reached the conclusion that you have to sneak out? It doesn't make any sense.
Happened that night would have happened more if I stayed there. And whenever you try to leave carbonation, they're going to make sure that you know that it's your fault and you're at fault and you're stupid for leaving and it's hell out there and you're not going to go nowhere. And I'm sad at this point. I'm real sad because I really thought they liked me and they didn't. They was just faking the whole time. So it's like it was just making me feel like I'm stupid for even over loving or over giving. I gave my whole room. I sold my whole car. What the fuck else you want from me? I gave you my whole life, my whole wardrobe, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of clothing and shoes. I gave that all to the group, to the family, because I'm thinking like, yo, like, yeah, that this is it. Like this is my family. They didn't even appreciate none of that shit. And they still wearing it to this fucking day. So I'm at this point. I'm just like, I gotta go, and they can take all the shit. They can have it all. I'll start over with nothing because I know God got me. I know that God have my back. So that's the story.
That is quite a story. Thank you for sharing your story. Did they reach out to you after you had left? Did he try to contact you?
No, I changed my number afterwards, and I deleted my Instagram so I can not have to get in contact with them. But they didn't even try to do anything. They couldn't get in contact with me, and if they, I don't even think they tried, honestly.
Do you realize that what he did to you before you left was do you think that it was truly love making or making love to you, or do you feel that it was, that it was coercion, which is pretty much one step down from, you know, sexual abuse?
No, I know that it wasn't love because it just felt fake. It just felt like he was acting and just to keep me. Like I'm just some kind of trophy to keep and not, share with the world. It's just I'm just something to just collect dust on the shelf. And I felt stupid. I felt real dumb because I'm supposed to be this strong ass woman, but I fell right back into it, you know. So yeah, I know it wasn't real. I knew that he was like just having sex to me for just to have sex with me so I can stay, thinking all I needed was dick, and that wasn't it. What I wanted was love, real genuine true love from him and the family, forgiveness, and I didn't even get that. So I just wanted to leave at that point. I just wanted to
That's
go.
completely understandable. I just want to let the audience know that, guys, I did ask her earlier on in the interview if she was going to go to the authorities and file charges for the assault that the multiple assaults that have happened to her before she left. And she did say that she was addressing this on her own, and so we have to leave it in her hands and see what happens from there. But she was asked that question already. So guys, please stop saying that she should press charges. We have absolutely let her know that that's what she should do. And I absolutely support you 100% because you were assaulted. And I'm a, I'm a proud L7. I will call the police on you and I will press charges on you if you put your hands on me or if you try to assault me. I'm the type of person and I will go to the police without hesitation because that's where my tax dollars go. So I fully support you in that, Nateri. Janae, if that's the route you decide to take, I feel that you should take that route. I'm not one of those, Black conscious community people that is, feels that we should never go to the police and we should know especially as Black women, we have to, find ways to protect ourselves in any way possible and in any way, in any avenue that's available to us. So please don't feel ashamed to take that route. You have a ton of people out here that will support you if you did decide to do that.
So I'll
Feel ashamed to take that route. You have a ton of people out here that will support you if you did decide to do that.
What was the other 6 hours about? What in the world was these people talking about for a whole nother 6 hours? Her account of what happened does not line up with the charges that are being pressed. It doesn't make any sense. Anybody with at least one eye, matter of fact, you don't even need eyes, you just need ears. Anybody can see that this recollection of what happened does not line up with what's being charged. Simple. Simple. And I'm going to continue to talk about this until something is done. I don't have no personal feelings and opinions. I'm not adding my biased standpoint. I'm just asking questions and showing the alleged victim's own statements as it pertains to what happened that night. I don't care what you think as a third party witness. I'm only concerned with the statement of the so-called victim. It's that simple. Anybody want to come up, make their statement? You have great news in regards to what? Very good. We'll leave it there. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace to the God.